Up next on The Reveal.
Oh my God, he's gonna kill somebody.
I didn't ask for this, and it changed my life.
The case of a fatal accident and a big missed opportunity.
I did HN, no indicators whatsoever.
The only way we're going to stop this is if people start taking it seriously. We start actually charging people with crimes.
Animal abuse and new accusations those in power are turning a blind eye.
14 years old. He likes kids.
And a group of Southern moms pose as teenage girls to trap online predators.
Are you a vigilante?
No, not a vigilante.
From our Midtown studios in Atlanta, The Reveal begins now with investigators Faith Abube and Brendan Keith.
Welcome to The Reveal, a show where our investigations are making an impact.
A North Georgia woman spent several terrifying minutes on the phone with 911, trying to stop a driver who was repeatedly swerving into oncoming traffic. But that's just the beginning of the story. The Reveal has obtained recording showing not one, but 3 chances a single sheriff's deputy had to prevent a fatal crash.
Oh my God, he's gonna kill somebody. Oh God, he just got rid of somebody else off the road.
Helpless. I was scared.
Please, oh God, they got to hurry. He's still all over the road. Oh my God, yes, he's in the other lane. Cars coming.
I knew something was going to happen. I just knew that was his last turn.
No! Damn it! Oh God, I'm Harry.
It ended worse than I thought.
How bad?
Bad enough to see things that you only see on horror movies.
Oh God. Oh God, he's dead. He's dead.
The call spanned nearly 9 minutes, 2 miles in Towns County, Georgia, 3 miles into North Carolina, before it ended with a head-on crash.
I don't think there's anything left of him.
Terry Silvers, the suspected impaired driver, crossed the center line and was killed instantly, a combined 100-mile-per-hour impact with the car driven by grandmother Tracy Stewart.
Why me? Because me and my granddaughter was riding down the road. We were talking, we were having a good time, and I didn't ask for this, and it changed my life.
After 4 surgeries, Stewart has a 6-inch plate in her dominant arm, a pin in her foot, and internal injuries.
I'll have to deal with this the rest of my life.
But she's still haunted by that 911 call.
Where are they at?
Every word, every second that ticks by is a second closer to an impact with you and your granddaughter.
It was very damaging for me to hear that call.
That is Terry Silvers.
And when she told him it was Terry Silvers, it should have took all seriousness to their head.
Because they knew.
Because they know Terry Silvers.
Terry Silvers, yep, it's him.
This is police body camera footage from last November.
Could have hurt yourself and killed somebody else.
When Terry Silvers totaled his pickup truck in a 1-vehicle rollover.
Can he tow my house to right over here?
Any signs
of him impaired?
Yeah.
Not that I can tell.
This lady right here, she feels quite sure he's under the influence of drugs.
He's so screwed up, he'll pass out driving.
Deputy Greg Joseph checked his eyes using horizontal gaze nystagmus, or HGN.
I did HN, no indicators whatsoever. There's no indicators in his eyes at all that he's under the influence of anything.
But certain drugs can be that way. I mean, I know because I've worked dispatch.
While alcohol and some drugs cause a detectable eye stutter called nystagmus, opioids and stimulants do not. Terry Silvers had a long criminal record of prescription pill and meth abuse, including drug arrests in Towns County.
Knowing him is probably meth.
That's what somebody else was just saying.
That's what they're complaining about. I'm not doing anything. I don't have any indicators.
Towns County has a drug problem, the highest number of ER visits per capita for opioid overdoses in the state of Georgia. State records show Deputy Greg Joseph attended a full-day drug impairment class just a week before he relied solely on this HGN test to clear Silvers, a test that cannot detect opioids or meth.
Take a deep breath, below. Go. That's good, thank you.
This is Deputy Joseph testing Terry Silvers at yet another one-car crash, the night before the fatal collision.
Mr. Silvers, how many wrecks are you going to have on this road? See my finger? Follow with your eyes only, okay? No, that blue zero's on the box, and I can't find anything on HGN.
That's the citation number?
No, that's the case number for the report.
I'm sorry I had to call you out like this.
Well, I'd rather come out here and do this than having to pick your body up somewhere.
No, that's right.
He's turning in Cornerstone right now. He's turning into Cornerstone.
24 hours later,
There's a wall right there. They're passing. They're going to a call.
that's the siren of the same deputy's car passing the gas station where Terry Silvers had stopped right before the fatal collision.
All units, be on the lookout for a small white Toyota truck. It's going to be occupied by a silver subject. Call advised reckless driving.
Towns County 911 didn't dispatch Deputy Joseph, who kept driving away to back up another deputy and a Hiawassee officer on what turned out to be an unfounded intruder call.
I was just wanting to call you and say, really?
What? What did I do?
As soon as we get out and start clearing the house, y'all give out a bolo?
Yeah, I know. Well, now he's dead.
What?
Now he's dead.
What do you mean now he's dead?
Well, he wrecked, and now he's dead.
Well, dang it.
I feel like I'm living a living nightmare.
In a situation like this, seconds count.
Yeah.
The only people who could help in this case were driving the other way.
Yeah.
I told you I Harry!
Don't let somebody else have to experience what I've gone through.
So did they ever find anything in that driver's blood?
We may never know, Faith. Because he died over the border in North Carolina, the autopsy was conducted there, and they said because they know he died from blunt force trauma from a car crash, they only tested for alcohol, which came back negative.
What about those officers? Any training for them?
Yeah, the deputies could have gotten advanced roadside impairment and drug training. There was actually a class scheduled in Hiawassee, that's in Towns County, but it was canceled because not a single Towns County deputy signed up.
Coming up on The Reveal.
What you see here is that cherry eye.
Horrifying conditions that should have been prevented.
I mean, it's heartbreaking. If you can't report to the people creating the rules, who are you supposed to report it to?
If you have a news tip or a comment on one of our investigations, email us at thereveal@11alive.com.
Welcome back to The Reveal. A few weeks ago, our investigation, Caged in Cruelty, uncovered these horrifying images of emaciated dogs. Some were even living with the dead and rotting pigs. Many of you were outraged, and tonight, new accusations that those in power are turning a blind eye.
I see you. The floor is clean. The cages meet state requirements. There is shelter, ventilation, and the dogs get food and water.
With her?
But Sarah Ream says if we want to stop animal cruelty, we have to stop looking at the cages and start looking in.
And they'll be fixing what you see here is that cherry eye.
The breeder, who we've chosen not to name, gave Guardians of Rescue the dog and about 70 others. Ream is helping to care for several, including this Cocker Spaniel, Darla. They were told she wasn't feeding her puppies, but veterinarian Justin Card says it is possible she couldn't because of her filthy and matted fur.
They'll get like these intertwined mats of hair where they're basically impenetrable.
And on this day, she needed to have 21 teeth removed.
You can see the decay on all of the other teeth.
Vet reports say other dogs removed from the same property came in limping.
There's positive presence of heartworms.
There were flea infestations, ear and eye infections so severe they have yet to be diagnosed. Dental disease.
So there's no teeth. There's no teeth in the bottom. Everything is just actively, it basically corroded and fell off.
Or at least that's the vet's best guess.
He was the one.
Leah Moore thought this dog had a mammary gland tumor.
It turns out that it's a hernia and her bladder is encased in the hernia. Why the DOA didn't see that on the 5th of March when they were there is kind of a mystery, I think, to all of us.
March 5th. That's the last time the GDA, or Georgia Department of Agriculture, inspected the facility before Guardians of Rescue filed a complaint. Rescue groups believe these dogs are clear evidence of animal cruelty. But the GDA passed the facility and stated all animals appear to be receiving adequate and humane care.
That somebody can be charged with animal cruelty if, in fact, an animal is suffering It doesn't say extreme suffering.
Attorney Jessica Rock helped write Georgia's animal cruelty law and has prosecuted these kinds of cases for more than a decade. But her main focus is training inspectors, law enforcement, and animal control to recognize cruelty.
It's the lens and the perspective that they go in there with and what they understand to be a violation or a crime.
The GDA can only issue violations, fine facilities, or revoke the license of those that fail to comply. In the past 3 years, it has taken administrative action against 8 locations. Most ended in probation.
Cumming police arrested Michelle Root last October.
Twice, law enforcement added criminal charges. While animal welfare advocates applaud the efforts, they say the GDA's own orders show an inconsistency in enforcement. The breeder, Happy Chihuahua, appealed a $10,000 fine stemming from accusations it failed to clip the dog's nails and remove mats in the fur. But there is no mention of poor grooming at the facility where these dogs were rescued.
It's pretty heartbreaking.
The GDA, Animal Control, and a state veterinarian did go back to the property in April. Records show they discussed, advised, and strongly recommended several things, but only required the breeder to get his remaining 250 or so dogs their rabies vaccination. The owner openly admits it's something he hasn't done in 4 or 5 years.
The one vaccination that is absolutely required for animals in Georgia is a rabies vaccination.
But that first requires someone in authority to notice. Animal Control says in the past 4 years, this is the first time someone from their office has been on the property. And until Guardians of Rescue brought up the issue, there is no evidence anyone from the state ever asked.
The only way we're going to stop this is if people start taking it seriously, we start actually charging people with crimes.
I called the breeder to ask him about the concerns raised by the rescues.
So if a dog's 2, 3, 4 years old and it has a problem and it needs to get its teeth cleaned, you would take it to get its teeth cleaned.
You can, yes.
But would you?
I'm not gonna. Well, I could if I thought it had to have his teeth cleaned. Yes.
He then asked that I send the rest of my questions to his attorney and hung up.
Hello? Are you still there?
The GDA also seems to have said enough. It has closed the rescue group's complaint unfounded.
If you can't report to the people creating the rules, who are you supposed to report it to?
Guardians of Rescue is waiting until they have all of the vet reports on the animals removed from the property before taking the information to the sheriff. And ultimately, it will be up to him and the district attorney to decide if what you just saw actually counts as animal cruelty.
And Rebecca, I know you chose not to name the breeder, but did you talk with the owner about any of these concerns?
Yes, he insisted that all of his dogs are well cared for. He says the ones that he gave to the rescue, many of them are old, and so of course they're going to have some medical issues. I wanted to ask him specifically about Garfunkel, the dog that's missing his lower jaw, but at that point in the conversation he told me to write my questions, send them to his attorney. He has yet to give me his name.
Up next.
Look, what, you don't want to talk to me? Who are you here to meet?
A band of mothers on a crime-fighting mission against online predators.
Listen to me before you walk off. There is a huge safety issue and risk at this, and we totally understand that.
It has all the makings of a reality TV drama. A New Orleans woman leads a group of volunteers snaring would-be child predators online and exposing them while hundreds watch on Facebook Live.
Yeah, she created the Facebook page Southern Mothers Against Predators in hopes of bringing together a network of mothers from all across the country to join the fight.
What's up, y'all? Okay. He says he's here, so he's sitting in his car. All right, I got him to come around. Let's see if he'll get out.
You're watching a sting operation set up and executed by moms. Holly is the creator of the Southern Mothers Against Predators Facebook page and private Facebook group. She asked us not to use her last name. The page has more than 6,000 followers, and many of them were watching this last month when she confronted a man who had been messaging with one of SMAP's decoys, an adult posing as a teenage girl.
Look, what, you don't want to talk to me? Who are you here to meet? You're exposed, dude. I have your pictures, I have your chat logs.
Chat logs, screenshots of virtual conversations between a person SMAP sees as a potential predator and a decoy.
We have to play the role of a child. So when they ask things like, different sexual innuendos per se. You know, when they say different things, we don't know. We play dumb.
Mhm.
We play dumb, and we're like, what's that?
And we still come after you.
And they still come.
SMAP has no ties to law enforcement. It is a group of concerned mothers looking to expose would-be predators to the community before children become prey.
Okay, this is a sting operation. We're Southern Mothers Against Predators.
Some of the men sit and talk to Holly.
How old did she tell you she was?
She's almost 16.
One hid.
I'm not law enforcement.
Then he took off.
Goes, y'all. 14 years old. He likes kids.
And sometimes they admit it.
Think that she was 15 years old. Wrong or right?
Right.
Since they began last spring, Holly says SMAP has confronted 8 men on Facebook Live.
Are you a vigilante?
No, not a vigilante.
You knew I was going to ask that question.
I knew you were going to ask that question. We don't break the law.
They use a variety of messaging and gaming apps, some that show where the decoy is so that would-be predators think there's a chance to meet. It's shocking to see how easy it is to do.
We're going to try this on Whisper. 1, 2, just contacted. Yeah.
Literally.
Literally a minute.
Holly posts some of her decoys' chat logs on Facebook, like these with a man we will call John. Thinking he was talking to a 15-year-old girl, John describes the sex acts he wanted to do to the girl. Then Holly says he sent photos, something she says happens a lot.
All kinds of photos. All kinds.
Like what?
What can I say on here?
Holly says John sent these photos to her decoy and asked to meet.
Do I know you? No, I don't know you. There he is, guys. 15-year-old little girl.
Computer-aided solicitation of a minor is a felony in Louisiana, and anyone convicted of it is required to register as a sex offender. But law enforcement has not made any arrests for sex crimes based on SMAP's exposures.
Leave law enforcement to law enforcement. Your hearts are in the right place, and we love what you're doing, but there are dangers that it poses.
You know, there is a huge safety issue and risk at this, and we totally understand that, you know. But as a parent and as a concerned citizen, you know, I feel like I feel the need, you know, to do something about this.
Holly says the risks are worth it, that even without prosecution, the exposure may lead the men to stop doing it.
I'm definitely not doing this again.
You're not doing it again? So I'm not going to see you on those apps again?
Maybe looking for someone over 18.
Over 18, okay. Emotionally just wrecks you, especially if you've been a victim yourself.
She didn't want to explain, but Holly says she was a victim when she was a teenager.
Listen to me before you walk off. Just hear me out.
Once prey, now a hunter.
A spokesperson for Facebook told me, quote, "We want people to use Facebook and our products to raise awareness about threats to public safety, including those who may pose harm to children. However, we do not want people to use Facebook to facilitate vigilante violence. That's why we have policies against threatening real-world harm and to protect people's privacy if they're being publicly shamed. We will remove content that violates these policies when it is reported." For The Reveal, I'm Katie Moore.
Sunday on The Reveal, we uncover a deadly trend at Georgia facilities licensed to care for the mentally disabled.
I want to know what happened to my son. I think I deserve to know what happened to my child.
Begs the question about what's the state going to do, why is this happening, and what can be done to rectify the situation.
The state's reaction to what we uncovered, we're holding them accountable Sunday on The Reveal.
You've been watching the now Emmy-nominated Reveal, a show dedicated to impact investigations.
We'll see you next week for another edition of The Reveal. Thanks for joining us.